Hi, welcome back to my High Plains Life. I'm your host, Danny, and it is Tuesday, December 15th, and it's a snow day. Woohoo! It's been a while since I've podcast, almost a month. It was before Thanksgiving, and I've just been really busy since then. There was Thanksgiving. We traveled out of town for that, and then I needed a week to recover, and then my laptop broke, so I wasn't able to edit anything that I did film. But everything is fixed and repaired now, and I'm ready to podcast again, so I hope you're ready to listen. Let's see. Start with On the Needles. You will be glad to hear I have an FO. 2 FOs. The socks that slogged on forever. Yes. These are my ghetto sock blockers. Woohoo. I was there last time. It did not take me a full month to finish these. I'm just saying. I got them finished within this time frame. So there is my Atlantic Current socks with my Jinx yarns in the Ponyo #1 colorway. And I did these 2 at a time, toe up. I said they were the Atlantic Current pattern by, I forgot. I will put it in the show notes. And I made the calves, I increased for the calves. So they would fit me comfortably, and they do. I love them. I have I don't know if you can see, I have a little hole there at my heel where I picked up, and I should have picked up an extra stitch in there, but I'll just go in and close that up, and it won't be a problem. Yay! So, socks. Done. What else do I have done, you ask? I finished that diagonal ribbed cowl I started. And this is out of that 100% alpaca that is just absolutely luscious. And I love it. This is going to be a Christmas gift. I'm not sure for who, but it is so soft. If it matched my coat, I might keep it. But I'm already making something else for myself, so. 1 cowl done. And another cowl done. Minus the ends, stupid dog, woven in. And this is the drop stitch cowl, and it is done using my Taki Yarns Taos. There's only 60 yards, so it's not the full repeat of what the drop stitch cowl should look like. I cast on too many stitches. I don't think I like it. I think I want it tighter, like a narrower cowl and higher. So I think I'm going to rip it out and re-knit it. That's right, folks. Rip frog in a finished project. But if I'm not happy with it, I don't want to give it away to somebody who won't be happy with it either. So those are my finished objects. What else have I been doing to keep me busy in these last weeks, you ask? I cast on several projects. Finish one, start a new one, right? Exactly. This is my travel knitting that I took to San Diego with me over Thanksgiving. I cast on 2 new projects on Thanksgiving Day. Actually, on the day before Thanksgiving, because I cast them on the flight. And the first one is Yowza Weighted Shawl number 4 by Susan B. Anderson. And this is, that's almost the color. That's more the color. This is beautiful. It is colorway Night Lights. And it's got these beautiful greens and teals and blues in it, and then with the gray to blend it all together. It's absolutely beautiful. Let me see if I can pull it out. Look at that. Look at those colors. Isn't that beautiful? So, that is my Yowza Weighted Shawl number 4. In addition, that's right, why cast on one when you can cast on 2? I cast on the Lena hat by Joanna of Joko Knits. I'm using Koigu KPPM in this beautiful variegated green color. They give it some crazy number like G14627 or something, I don't know. And that's the color. It's got these lime greens and emeralds and Kelly greens, and it's just really pretty. Unfortunately, it's knit at too loose a gauge for you to really see the pattern, but I'm not ripping it out. You might be able to see there where it cables over. So I'll do about 4 repeats of that and then start decreasing. This is done. Basically, the entire hat is a twisted 1x1 rib, except for every 11th row when you cable over. Oh my God. I hate twisted rib. It looks beautiful. Pain in the ass to knit. I didn't realize when I started this, the entire hat was going to be in 1x1 ribbing. I thought I'd just do my, 10, 12 rows for the brim and then go on to stockinette or something. No. It's driving me crazy. It takes forever. However, this beautiful, beautiful green. I'm loving the yarn. So this will be for me. It'll match my coat. And I'm loving it. Hating the twisted rib, loving the color. Let me put these away. And these are in my mustache bag by Beady Sisters, Betty. Oh, that's upside down. Man, there you go. Beady Sisters. So those are my 2 new projects. That's right. And those were all that I had to knit on over Thanksgiving, and I needed them. I needed that little stress relief and some downtime in between visiting with family. So I'm glad I took something. I'm glad I took 2 projects so I didn't get bored with one. And I wish I'd made a little bit more progress on them, but I have to be satisfied with what I did. Before I left for Thanksgiving, I did work on my Evolution shawl. So many cows, I've just forgotten. So I have finished clue 5 Charlie. So I am, or 5 Bravo. I'm on clue 6 Alpha out of 6 Charlie. So I have 3 more charts to do. And I don't know if you can see, But Clue 5 Alpha created these beautiful lace sleeves. Again, lace just looks like a jumble of yarn until it's washed and blocked. So, but I'm still loving it, loving the yarn. It's alpaca sock in the wasabi colorway. Love the yarn, love the color. It's just not a TV knitting project because I have the charts are pretty, they're getting progressively more difficult. So I have to count, pay attention, and every now and then I have to look at the legend and remind myself what I'm supposed to be doing. So definitely not TV knitting. So that is my whips. And I have been stocking the long tail triangle shawl. Long Tail Triangle Shawl by Kimberly Perkins to use my Cat Mountain Fusion 800 yarn with. This is my Cat Mountain Fiber Arts Fusion 800. It's 800 yards of this wonderful mix of different yarns and styles and just amazing lusciousness. This is the Mallard colorway, so it's got teals and browns and golds. It's beautiful, but it's kind of an art yarn, so I wasn't sure what pattern to use for it. So I've did searches and research and found the long tail triangle shawl that takes into account the varying fibers, and I think that's what I'm going to do. So now I want to cast that on. I also want to cast on the Celtic Myths shawl by Asita Krebs because my knit group is looking to do a knit along for this in the new year. Since like 3/4 of us in the knit group have it in our favorites or in our queue, we thought we'd do a knit along. Well, that's another thing to cast on to add to my whips. So I don't know. Don't know. And I don't have the fiber or the yarn for the Celtic Myths shawl yet. At least not something I've absolutely decided on. So that would require me buying more yarn too. So it kind of goes against my cold sheeping policy. Cool sheeping policy. So we'll see what gets cast on in the new year. I have made some acquisitions though, in spite of the cool sheeping policy. And this is some fiber. Because I've been spinning that cormo, that undyed white cormo, for ever and ever now. And I wanted some color. So I went online into the world. Into the World had an update. And this is the Moscow Mule colorway, and it's superwash targy. I'm not going to take it out of the bag. I've spun cormo, I've spun Shetland, I've spun merino and silk and BFL. So I wanted to give some different types of fibers a try. So I got superwash targy and I got a Cheviot. Cheviot? In the Fathom colorway. And that's pretty much it. It's blues and grays and greens. Beautiful. Oh, there. That's what the colors look like exactly. See if I can find that sweet spot here. There you go. So you get some reds, rusts, blues, greens, grays. crazies. Crazy colors, but I know I'm just going to have so much fun spinning these up. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing how the different fibers spin up. It's combed, I think it's combed top preparation. So while the prep is the same, I'm interested to see what the difference in fibers are. In addition, I got a little bitty thing of merino and bombyx silk 50/50 in the Andraste colorway, which is these blues. So this is a little bit of luxury thing, so I'll spin this up, and if I were doing minis, this would be perfect. Maybe I'll use it to swap. So I did get some new fiber, and I'm looking forward to spinning that because I am so sick of the white Cormo. Give me some color! It's snow outside, white fiber inside, I'm bored. I splurged a little and bought some fabric too. I know, I bought fabric last time, bought fabric this time. This I could not resist. It's this beautiful Asian print, gray with flowers with a silver metallic in it. And then this beautiful blue with bamboo tonals in it. Beautiful blenders. Beautiful. So this will go into my Asian fabric stash. Because I love them. Someday I'll make a quilt with them. So what is under the needle, you ask? Did you like my segue? I know, right? Under the needle is my table runner. It's a double wedding ring quilt table runner. Hi! But it's done without any curved piecing. It's awesome. So I got it quilted by Nikki Rainey at Nana's Quilt Cottage. And I don't know if you can see, she did these cabbage roses because my backing fabric has cabbage roses on it. So she kind of did the traditional thing and blended that. So a cabbage rose is a traditional design and carried forward the theme from my backing fabric to the quilting, which I think is beautiful. So now I have to bind it. So I trimmed it all up and I have to pick a fabric out of my reproduction prints that goes with the blues and browns and cut it on the bias, make binding strips, and bind it. This will be my first curved binding that I've had to do, which as long as I cut my strips on the bias shouldn't be a problem, but I've never done it. So until I do, of course I'm nervous about it. But I'm going to do it anyway because I believe in trying new things. Where would we be if we did the same thing all the time, over and over again? We'd get nowhere. In addition to that, I also finished my mystery blocks for December. This is my, I think it's called Johnny Jump Around the Corner, or Johnny Around the Corner block. So cute! These little 6-inch blocks are cute. And then this is a 9-inch block. And this is a square and a square and a star and a square. So, if you can see the square in a square, whoops, in a star, in a square. This backwards pointing thing is really hard. And Some of my points are a little off, but overall not bad for all these quarter square, half square, triangles, square and squares, sewing on the bias things where fabric stretches and it's hard to keep things straight. So when I say my points match up, this is what I'm talking about. So the point of my corner square there to the other point of this right there square. This one is floating just a little bit, which means you can see the background. It's better to have them floating than it is to have them cut off, which means your seam allowance is too large and you sewed into it. You also want to match up your seams here. So I want this seam to go continue straight down, and I want this seam to continue straight across. So where they meet here, I've got to make sure everything matches up as well as possible so that my seams stay in straight lines. That's your quilt lesson for the day. That was hard. All this backwards pointing. Didn't mean to flip people off, sorry. So that is what is under the needle. Let's see. Oh, I wanted to show you all my quilting notebook. My quilts, how original, huh? But I use this to track most of what I've made. I have a list at the front, and then I have documentation of all the quilts I've done. I have fabric glued with an acid-free glue onto acid-free scrapbook paper in page protectors, and pictures of the finished quilt. So this is all the fabrics that I used in it, and there's my finished quilt, and there's the information to it. Some other quilts that I've made: flannel quilt, Christmas quilt, baby quilts, blocks, things that are in progress and unfinished yet. This is my double wedding ring table runner. Obviously don't have the documentation for it yet or the final finished picture because it's not done, but that's all the fabric that I used into it. This is my mystery block of the month, and I'm putting the fabrics on my paper as I trim them. So this lets me keep a memory of all my finished projects. So I don't just have pictures of them, but I have samples of what the fabrics that I used in them were. So when I have scraps and I'm using them, I can say, oh, this went in that quilt, or this went in that quilt. And I'm kind of a nerd like that, so I love lists, keeping track of things. Do you have something like that? Do you have something like that for your knitting? Or do you just do inspiration ideas and lists of things that you want to accomplish? Or swatches of knit patterns that you think would be, stitch patterns you think would be interesting? Or do you have something that contains your finished objects too, with samples of your yarn? Let me know in the comments. That's inquiring minds want to know. As far as off topic, I told you I'd be wanting to cast on all the things. Yarnder Woman, who is Melinda in Perth, Australia, is doing a Color Affection multicolor shawl knit along in 2016. I keep wanting to cast on the Echoes of Color shawl by Joji Locatelli. I've mentioned it before. I have the yarn for it. Oh, I want to cast it on. But again, it's why must I knit all of the things all at once? I still have whips that I haven't even shown you because I haven't worked on them in a while that I need to get done. So you saw how many I have. What do I do? Do I cast it on anyway in 2016, planning to finish it before the Super Bowl party so I can count it for my DCS pigskin party? Will I be able to get it done in time? Should I focus on what I already have? My brain is telling me focus on what you have, Danielle. My heart is saying cast on Echoes of Color. We shall see which wins. We traveled to San Diego, California for Thanksgiving to visit family, and it was wonderful. We got to see some family that we hadn't seen in years, or that we'd seen once in the last 15 years. And we had a great time, and it was nice getting to know that side of the family again. And hopefully we'll stay in better touch this time. I plan to do a small part in that by writing a Christmas letter and sending out Christmas cards this year. It's been years since I have done a Christmas letter, much less even sent out Christmas cards there. I mostly tried to focus on the positive things that had happened to us through this last year and what we hoped for the new year. And that was my Christmas letter. Do you write a Christmas letter? Do you send cards? Do you do nothing? Do you celebrate Hanukkah and send Hanukkah cards out? Let me know. I'm curious. Additionally, let's see. I tried to do a virtual knit night, but I couldn't get Google Hangout to work correctly. We're going to try again soon. I wasn't able to try again this last weekend because my laptop was broken. Check the Ravelry thread for more info. I'll continue posting what dates and times we're going to try to do. This Friday I'm supposed to be baking Christmas cookies, so might not be able to do it this Friday. So just keep an eye on the Ravelry thread, and that'll have the date and time. Come join us. We bought Settlers of Catan. I have not played it before, but my husband has. I've heard great things about it, and I know it's a good board game to start with, getting into strategy play and stuff. So I'm looking forward to playing it, getting some friends over, and getting it out. We also are very proud of ourselves for being so handy. Pat on the back. We replaced the heating element in our oven all by ourselves. Thank you, YouTube. And my 9-year-old oven had the heating element burnout in it, while my mother's 20-year-old oven has never had any problems. Just goes to show planned obsolescence. It cost $35 for a new heating element. Amazon shipped 2-day Prime, and it took, well, we had a few issues. So it took us 30 minutes tops to replace it, and half that time was spent cleaning behind the stove. So I felt very handy. That was the first home repair project we've taken on in a while, and it was accomplished successfully, and we were able to use the oven that very night. So excitement. It'd been out for a few weeks, so we've been using the stovetop, and I missed cooking food in the oven or having it available to cook food. So now that's back in working order, we can start doing our casseroles and winter comfort foods again. I think that's all I have for today. I've kind of rambled on, but it's been a while, so I had a lot of bits and bobs to talk about, and I'm curious as to how you plan on celebrating Christmas. We won't be traveling anywhere. We're just going to stay here in town and relax, play it low-key, and make phone calls to everybody and all the family for Christmas. So that's our plans. I can be found as DannyGirlCO on Ravelry and Instagram, and show notes for this podcast can be found at www.myhighplainslife.blogspot.com. I'm hoping to podcast again before the end of the year, but if I don't, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Bye!